Hi there everybody, it's Verity here from inkybutterfly.com. Thank you so much for joining me again today for our Stamp Around UK video hop. So a bunch of us are creating videos today all along the theme of wedding, and in the description there will be loads of links to everybody else's video. It'd be really great if you could watch this one, some thumbs ups, some comments as well if you like. And then go through into the description and have a look at what everybody else has made and share the love and get all those likes. And if you haven't subscribed already and you like this style of video, then do hit that subscribe button as well. So weddings then, I don't make lots of wedding cards if I'm honest, so I just thought pretty heat embossing and florals would do the job, and of course you can tailor this to exactly what the bridal colours are, but you know, I don't have an event to tailor, so I just went onto a lovely search engine to see what colour combinations I could use. Okay, products wise, we've got a whole mix of things. We've got some online stuff and some new stuff. This is the Scalloped Wishes dies because it has these neat frames, cute florals. There is the dragonfly in there as well, but I'm not going to use that today. And then we've got some leaves, so that's what I've used to embellish and create that panel for the sentiment. The sentiment comes from a new set called Phrases and Frames, so I've just gone with Have a Fabulous Day. There is some anniversary stuff on here, and we've got sympathy and everything else, but I figured Have a Fabulous Day is really nice and generic, and we want people to have a fabulous day, don't we? And then the background is this gorgeous Nature's frame, so obviously we're covering up this space here with our oval. Okay, just about hides it. You could probably, you know, if you really knew it was there, you could probably tell, but we're going to use this as our backdrop. So I've used silver on this one. Isn't it lush? Okay, so we'll switch it up. We'll use gold, and then this combination of colours, is that not just wonderful? Okay, so this is actually the two new ink colours. So we've got Hydrangea Hue with Calypso Coral and Night of Navy, and then the greenery is Granny Apple and the new colour Peaceful Pine. Okay, so yeah, so isn't this a really lush combo? Really nice. Okay, so that's what we used for the sample. Okay, so let's just pop those back in their spaces. So you'll be relieved to know I've done a lot of the die cutting already, okay, because we want these videos just to be sort of quick, bright and sharing ideas. So all of the stuff is already in front of me, and we will have to add some colour to these things. We're going to use a different combination. I have cut out the frames already, and I've actually glued I think it's 3 in the end. I glued 3 together to give it a bit of oomph without having to put any dimensionals behind it, because obviously it's very skinny. Okay, and I've got this set up already on a piece of paper. This is the centre out of that, so it cuts out the centre as well. Again, I've stacked it up, and we'll stamp our sentiment on there. And I've just put it on this, it's just got a bit of seal on it, just to hold it in place on this scrap piece of paper so that we can stamp the sentiment, but I'm not sure what colour I'm going to do that in just yet. So we'll decide that when it comes to it. So that's ready to go as well. Okay, and as I say, we've got all our little flowers and leaves done already here as well. Okay, but the first thing we're going to do is heat emboss our background. So I'm just using I'm using a thick basic white card base in the usual fashion, half scored in half, and this is actually white willow. It doesn't really matter whether it's white willow or basic white or whatever. Some white cardstock cut to a full panel, so that means this is 4 inches wide by 5 3/4 tall. Had to think for a second then whether that was correct or not. Okay, I'll have to move those out of the way just for a minute. So I'm going to bring in heat embossing stuff. Let's put this sample card out the way just for a second. So the Embossing Additions kit comes with the tray, the brush, tweezers and an anti-static bag. I've got mine pinched up on a binder clip there. And then you will need Versamark ink, which is a clear sticky ink, which grabs our powder and make sure it goes where it needs to be. And we're going to use the gold embossing powder. Okay, so I'm going to have that open in there, ready to go. I'm going to add some anti-static on there. If I didn't keep this in that tray and get it out every time, I'd forget to add it, so that's why that's in there. So we're going to pop a bit of that, just flick off some of that excess, and just to make sure we get a good impression, I'm going to use the stamping positioner. So I've already got that background stamp already in place on there. Okay, and we'll pop this into place. So I'm going to actually just grab just a tinsy bit of seal, because it's going all the way to the edge. The magnets aren't going to be as useful because we haven't got anything to hold on to. You could make it a bigger piece, and then you'd have the space to do that. So let's try it about there. I'm trying not to maul the front so that I don't get the fingerprints on there. That looks okay. So I'm going to go with that, position that on there, flip this over and apply the ink. Okay, so we've got nice coverage of ink on here. Lots of light tapping, and I don't think I'm that bothered if it doesn't turn out 100%, but let's get it as close as we can to there. And of course we're heat embossing, not quite the hottest day on record here, but yeah, don't far off. Okay, so let's pop that away. We'll flip this back over, make sure your logo is the right way up. It'll drop onto these little springy doodahs here. Just rest it there, and then you want to press that down. Having a cloth or something to help you rub across that is helpful, and you can do it as much as you need to without applying too much pressure if that's something that you struggle with. So hopefully we've got all of that, and we can lift that off. I can see that there is an impression on there that looks good. So I'm going to drop that into my little tray for a second, and we're just going to pop this to one side. Okay, so it's in our tray ready to go, and I think I'm going to have a corner up here to be able to hold on to it. So I'm going to start applying the powder across here, and then we'll let it slide down and cover the rest of that image, and then we'll catch any other bits that we need to. So I know I've got a blank space in the middle there, so I know that there's a place to hold on to it. So just make sure you catch those corners. Yep, looks good. And this is where I'm like, where can I hold on to this? So there's a spot here, but I can grip that. So again, I'll add some more, make sure we've got it all. Okay, and a nice sharp tap just to make sure you've got any stray bits off there. Okay, cool. Right, so let's just make sure we've got hold of that. I'm going to tip this away before it has an opportunity to cause me an issue. Lid on, and we'll heat set this now with our heat tool. So that's going to be a little bit loud on the video, so please do mute for a second while I'm doing this. I'll try and keep it in shot, so hopefully you can see the lovely can you see how dull it is now, and then hopefully you'll be able to see it change into this lovely shine. So I'll be back in a second once we've done that, and you'll see me heat the back and the front on here just to get that done, and hopefully I won't blow away all my little embellishments. Oh well. Right, I'm back in a sec. Didn't blow my embellishments until right at the end there, so hopefully I was able to hold that so that you could actually see it turn, because it is just crafting magic. Look at that, nice, just love it. Okay, now I prefer to heat from behind because I personally feel like you get a better result, but you know, you do whatever you think works best for you. Okay, so I'm just going to grab a little cloth and just make sure I haven't got any stray powder all over the desk. There we go, so that's ready to go, and it doesn't take long to cool down. So what we'll do is we'll grab some seal adhesive, and I'm going to run some strips along there. The embossing process will warp the cardstock a little, so I'm putting on a lot more tape than I would normally for a layer. Cut that edge a little bit more. Just so that it we make sure that it's held down nice and flat, and we can position that, get your borders right at the bottom. The rest should fall into place nicely, and then we can reinforce that score line. So I'm going to do that on the back because I don't want to damage any of that embossing at the top there, and that's just really pretty, isn't it? Really, really pretty. Okay, so that's our base pretty much done. Okay, and then we'll have our frame over the top. Okay, I did and ah about having a little bit of ink to help that pop a little bit, but decided against it. And whilst that box is sort of there, I'm giving myself a bit more room because the foliage and stuff can hide those top corners. So I think it looks a little better lower down on the card like that. Okay, in fact I might stick that down while we're here, and that will give it a chance to set while we're doing our inking. So I'm just going to pop just a mere little dab of the glue in these conveniently sized spaces. Could run it all the way around the edge if you wanted to, but you don't need a lot of this glue. It's really strong, really strong. And then there is like the shape does have, I would say, a central point, so it's got a scallop at the top. So just eyeballing that so that those look like they're central and level. And we'll just press that down firmly for a moment, and we'll pop that to one side with an acrylic block on top just to help that set. In fact, I might put two on there just to be add a little bit of extra weight. Okay, so let's ink up. Now sometimes this mat will make the focus misbehave on the camera, so I'm sorry if that happens. But right, so in the die set there is one die that cuts out 2 flowers at a time, and there's a slightly larger one and a smaller one. So we will add our colour to those, and then we've got a big set of leaves and a little set of leaves as well. Okay, so because these are so tiny, we're going to use daubers to apply the ink. So we're going to stick with Granny Apple Green, and I might switch it round and do the small ones. I think I did the big ones in Pine, didn't I? Yeah, let's switch it round and do the big ones, sorry, do the small ones first in the Granny Apple. And I'm just using one of the daubers to apply the ink so that it sort of fades out. If I was going to use a brush, I'd end up with, because they're so small, it would cover it completely, and I just want some hints of white to still show on there. Okay, so that's my Granny Apple. Okay, I'm trying to find a place to do it. So here's our one of our new pads. It's a magnetic opening. Okay, so you can just still sort of flip it over, and that's going to stay exactly where it is. And it's a felt pad. It's a really obviously, with it being new, they're quite juicy still. So just tapping that on there, so hopefully you can see. I'm trying to keep it darker at the stem, the bottom, and then fade it out. As we go towards the tip of that. Okay, and they don't have to be perfect, at least I don't think they do. You might think otherwise. Okay, so that's my foliage done. Okay, now we're going to do the flowers. So I've got to decide what my key colour is going to be. So my combination is going to be Pool Party, Pretty Peacock and Golden Glow. I like this colour, I like it a lot, which might be swaying my opinion to make it the feature colour. and then have the darker colours. I think that would work. So I'm going to do Golden Glow for the larger flower, and we're just going to sort of pop that into the middle. And again, not going to worry too much if I need a pokey tool. It's not as perfect as you might want it to be, but like I say, the idea was just to sort of get the ink more concentrated in the centres and fade out to the edges. So that's Golden Glow. And then we need our accent colours, which are going to be Pool Party, picked up the wrong thingy. I was going to go with Coastal Cabana. Coastal Cabana can look a little green depending on what you put it with, so I went with Pool Party instead. Okay, and then we'll have Pretty Peacock. Totally stunning colour. Going to look so nice with the Golden Glow, I think. Okay, right, that will do. Inky fingers. If you get inky fingers, wash your hair. That's the best thing to do. There we go. Right, so there's our inky bits. I think I'm going to use Pretty Peacock for the sentiment. So I think that's going to be the clearer colour. Pool Party's too light. And I think with the gold background, I think I want the punch to be from here. So that's what I'm going to do. Could of course do this in the stamp positioner and give yourself a couple of bites of the cherry, but I'm going to be brave and go with this. Tell you what, you don't have, once you've been using the different style of ink pads, you don't have noticed a difference in the way they behave. Right, so not that one's better than the other, it's just different. Bigger block means that you can eyeball this and try and get it something like straight. So just some firm pressure on there, and we'll lift that up. Lovely jubbly. That's great. As I say, but I just loosely tacked that down just so that I could make sure it was straight. That was the only reason for doing that. And this should be nice and dry now. Put those away. Oh, I can put these away now. And we can start putting some of this stuff together. So to make this, to give a bit more dimension on this, we're going to add some dimensionals to the back of this so that it's standing proud of the frame we've already got. So I found that 4 was ideal on these, just to spread out that adhesive. So we'll put that on. And if you wanted to, I've rearranged my desk and I went to reach for something and it wasn't there. I'll get used to it. Felt like everything was just creeping in on the space that I had to work in. So I've had a little bit of a tidy up. And I'm currently experimenting with a way to store my blending brushes, but as well, and I think it's definitely what I want to do. I just haven't found the best way to do it yet. So I've added the extra bit of glue on there because that gives you that wriggle time just to make sure that everything's sat where it needs to be. Cute, right? Cute. Right, so we're going to need to add the little teeny tiny details on here now with all these flowers. So we've got an odd number, so I can do a 3 and a 5 or whatever. So I think I've got an extra one, haven't I? 2, 4, 3 and 5 is 8. Yeah, two odds. Right. So I'm going to pop foliage in first, and these have a nice sort of shape to them. So I'm going to stick them a little away from the frame so that they don't get sort of completely hidden by all the flowers. I still want them to be visible. I still want the lovely details of that scalloped frame to show as well. Made the effort of having it there, so let's let it. I might, yeah, I forgot that's not raised up, it's solid, isn't it? Yeah. And then this one, and this glue obviously won't dry instantly, so if there is a little bit of adjustment that needs to happen, then it can. Need my shaping tool or something that I can excuse me. So for florals like this, if you press a rounded tool, whatever that might be, end of a pencil, you know, one with a rubber on it or something, if you press them into something squishy, I'm using my hand, it could be a craft mat, anything like that, it just gives them this nice cupped shape, which I think looks really, really pretty. So let's just do all of these and then we'll decide which ones we're using. I just realised that was half in the shot, so I'm really hoping that the focus wasn't fritzing on you. So we'll do that for now and then see how it looks. Right, so because there's holes in the middle, normally I would pop a dab of glue and then just apply the flowers where I want them, but because there's a hole, that doesn't work so well. So just adding it directly to the flowers this time. So I have a little trio of them in this corner. Oops. Like so, and you can use tool, pokey tool, whatever, to get those pressed down. You know, a card like this is, you know, it's worth that additional effort. It's you know, for most it's a once in a lifetime event, you know, so you want something nice and special. So okay, exactly the same with the smaller ones, and then just using a tool or whatever to get in on there. and make sure they're pressed into place. Oh, it's sweet, I love it. So dark flower next to light coloured leaves is what I'm going to do, and light colour next to dark coloured leaves. So I've almost got like little spray down here. A few more elements. There we go. Cool. And then just to finish it off, so we've got a little spare flower there, I'm sure we can use that for something. So just to finish it off, we'll add some shinies, in this case rhinestones. So we'll need our pokey tool there. Sorry if you can hear a bunch of noise, it is hot, I do have my window open. Right. So we've got different sizes of these rhinestones, so we'll add those in. So some of the larger ones on these larger flowers, and then we'll put the little itty bitty ones in on here. They fit almost perfectly right inside the centre of these. So you just press those down. There we go, this one. And this one. There we are. Oh, beautiful. I think that's nice. I do love my original combination, but you know, obviously every event is going to be really different. Okay, and you can create yours to suit the occasion you're making for. I love this. Love this too. So there we go. That's my version of a wedding card. There'll be lots more using the links in the description. Please do have a look, see what everyone has made. I'm sure there's going to be some stunning stuff. Everyone's got their own crafting style. Some thumbs up, likes, subscribes, some lovely comments, and that will really help all of us grow our channels and get out to even more people to share our inspiration. Thank you very much for joining me for a longer video, but I hope it was worth it. Stay safe, take care, and I'll see you at the next one. Bye bye.